Hey everybody, this is Mike from Landon Custom Classics. It's about 100 degrees out here, so not really the weather to be working on much. Found a little piece of shade here. Figured I'd talk a little about seized engines. One thing you need to find out if you can, if a motor locked up while running or if it's just locked from sitting. This one here we're pretty sure is locked from sitting for almost 30 years, and it's turning out to be all right coming unlocked. A lot of the time, if your motor locks up while it's running, it's due to not having enough oil or some other internal problem. Sometimes those motors are just scrap. This motor here we've got to turn over almost a quarter of a turn so far. I'm using the power of the starter and the flywheel. You'd be surprised how much torque that has. But the key to it is putting a solution in the cylinders and letting it sit. When you're trying to unlock a motor and reuse it, the biggest, most important thing is patience. The longer you let that sit, the more chance you have of saving the motor. The other biggest key thing is don't force it. Don't ever force a motor. All you're going to do is harm the rings. You see a lot of people, they just pull the head off and they'll start beating on the pistons like an idiot with either a sledgehammer, or they'll put a piece of pipe on the piston and just beat the hell out of it. That's the stupidest thing you could ever do. If it does come down to that, and you're going to need a lot more work if it does, when you pull that head off, you're going to want to find like a 4x4 or some other piece of wood that'll properly fit inside your piston and not touching the walls. And you're just going to hit it with like one good strike each time and go from one piston to the next piston until you cycle all the way through and then start over. After you do this, because you're forcing that with so much pressure, you're going to need to take it to a machine shop. You're going to have to pull those pistons out, and you're going to have to work over each cylinder, have them all bored out, because those rings aren't going to be any good. You're going to have so much blow by, it's ridiculous. Where I'm doing this, we're not pushing it, we're just letting her sit, and I'm just going to give it a couple days probably now. I don't even know if I'll touch it tomorrow. It'll probably be the next day. And then I'm just going to touch the starter a couple times and let it go as far as it'll go. That brings those pistons down, and it lets my solution of transmission fluid and acetone eat more rust and more debris out of there. And it's going to start soaking down past the piston, and it's going to just take all that off the walls. And that way I can run this motor and I possibly can get it free without having any issues with burning oil and smoking. That is just the most important thing, and there's so many videos out there showing you how to do it the wrong way. And I might not be that old, but I've been working on cars since I was like 6 years old, and it's a big family thing. Like my cousin Kim over at Barrow's Garage says, it runs deep in our genes. I've been doing this my whole life since I was about 6 years old, so I have about 31 years experience, only being 37 years old. And I've learned from a lot of old mechanics that really knew what they were doing. And if you count all their experience, I've got hundreds of years experience. I may not be the best mechanic, but when it comes to these old cars, I know what I'm doing. I'm also good at finding parts that are hard to get and finding cars for great deals. I only paid $300 for this beautiful Rambler here, and it's a treasure to me. And when I get her running, I'm going to get it all painted up, fixed up nice, and I'll have a good car that'll last a long time, better than all these new pieces of plastic you see driving down the road. Well, thanks for listening to what I have to say, and I appreciate you tuning in. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and you all have a good night. Thank you.